Greetings. Today I want to speak to you concerning a scripture that has been used to keep people in cults and to keep them controlled and keep them under fear. And this scripture has been used and misinterpreted many times to control many people's lives because they fail to think for themselves. And this scripture have to do with the love of self. And it can be found in 2 Timothy chapter 3, where he speak about those who are lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. Now, the very first thing you have to know to understand that scripture in its right concept is that the Bible is a book of mind science. That's the very first thing you have to know. And you have to know that the essential character of the Bible is man's imagination. It is also very important for you to know that the Bible is written symbolically. And then you must know that it addresses the human mind and it all have to do with the human psyche. So when you read this scripture and you understand that God in man is man's imagination, you would realize that there's a difference between life and a lifestyle. In terms of life is what creates lifestyle. And that is why we are living in a time where they are allowing each and everyone to make a choice between life and a lifestyle. Now, the very life in you is God. So when those of us who are spiritual speak about loving self and embracing self, this self of which we speak is the higher self. Because you're told that God and man are one, and that God is the one who kills and the one who makes alive, the one who wound and the one who heal. And the Bible tells you that in Deuteronomy 32:39, and also in Isaiah 45 verses 5 to 7, where he says, I create the darkness and I create the light. I create good and I create evil. And there's no God besides me. So when you understand that, you'll understand in 2 Timothy chapter 3, all these negative traits that it is speaking about. It is teaching you that when someone is dwelling in a negative mindset, that they will hold on to false identity. Like for example, they will judge themselves based on their education, their education level, or the kind of work they do, the amount of money they make, whatever title they have, whether they're a doctor or they have a PhD. And this is how they would see themselves and appreciate themselves based on those things. Okay? Such a person also would base themselves based on, or look at themselves based on the religion or denomination they belong to, and they identify themselves to that religion or that denomination, and that's the kind of identity they hold. So those people who hold to false identity and fail to realize that the inner self is their true essence, they are the ones who get entrapped in appreciating the false self, which is this outer shell, because they are missing the point. And that is why those are the people right now on the planet who are choosing lifestyle over life, because they are afraid of losing the things that they believe has been giving them security and false identity. So they want you to make decisions based on their mindset But when you make decision based on your own mindset and you choose a life, you know that if all these material things been taken away from you, that the life in you can create them over and over and over and over again. Because you know that imagination creates reality, and you know everything in this world, it was first imagined, and it was first a thought, it was first an idea. So when the Bible speaks about those who be lovers of themselves, the false self it is speaking about. It is speaking about having the wrong mindset, because there are two outlooks on life: the carnal mind or the spiritual mind. The mind of Christ or the carnal mind. Same thing. So everything has its polarity. Everything has its polar opposite. So in spirituality, when we speak about self, we are speaking of our only identity that there is. We are speaking of consciousness. We are speaking of our awareness of being. We are speaking of the creative power that we can use to achieve our every desire. But those who have a religious mindset, they see self from the standpoint of they believing that they are humans trying to be spiritual. But when we speak of self and speak about loving self, we are speaking from the angle from the understanding of knowing that we are spirit having a human experience. And that is why you need to understand that scripture from the standpoint that the Bible is a book of mind science. And many preachers and even YouTubers who have a religious mindset are keeping the people in social media cults. There's a lot of social media cults, you know. You see, there's nothing new under the sun. It's just changing into different forms. Like, for example, if you go and check out the cult church in Jamaica, where they just had human sacrifice, over 3 people get killed in the church, and they go and they meet all the men naked, pastor, all of them naked, and they pelting fire and shots, bullet after the police. And you will want to know how people can allow themselves to be that brainwashed. These are some of the scriptures that they would use and misinterpret these scriptures so that you wouldn't go before the mirror and love yourself and embrace yourself and believe in yourself. And that is why it's very important to understand when he says about those who love pleasure more than they love God, those who love lifestyle more than they love life. Those of us who love life knows that we must be in alignment with nature. We must embrace nature. We must know that everything around us and in us is a reflection of us, because everything that is within is without. So my brother and my sisters, do not let anyone ever brainwash you to tell you that you must love self and you must embrace self and try to use 2 Timothy chapter 3. Don't make them fool you. All of those negative traits lead them right back to the religious minds who do not know themselves, who do not know who they are. That's why I want to encourage you and I want to strengthen you, because someone would have asked me to speak on this because they asked a question and someone gave them a very good answer, but I just want to answer it from another angle, showing you it's the same thing. Okay? That as long as you understand the inner man and the outer man, the conscious and the subconscious mind, and you understand good and evil come from the same power, and God says that there is none beside him, and he's the one that creates good and evil. He's the one who creates light and darkness, and he's the one that kills and the one that make alive, the one who wound and the one who healed. Once you know that, and you know that God in man is man's imagination, and you know before anyone can say anything or do anything, it had to first be a thought, it had to first be an idea, it had to first be imagined. And you read 2 Timothy chapter 3, and you read all of those personalities or traits, you know that they are states of mind, are states of consciousness, because you know every thought must be expressed in word or action. So every action and every word is an expression of a thought. So it has to first be mental or first be psychological. And every book that has ever been written, it has to first be a thought or first be an idea. It has to first be imagined in someone's mind. So it all have to always be psychological. It means the universe is mental, it's psychological. And that is why you can only suffer in two ways. Either psychologically, which would mean also spiritually, or physically. So everything is just either physical or psychological. So when I talk about being psychological, I'm talking about spiritual, because that which you can't see. You can't see my words, but you can hear them. But if I affirm certain things and then it manifests, then that is the top interpretation of that, from the invisible to the visible. Because the words are invisible, you're not seeing them. It's all vibration, everything is energy, vibration, and frequency. So my brother and my sister, I don't want to go on and on and on, but I want to say this is one of the very scripture that these cult leaders will all use to brainwash you. And there's, as I said before, there are many cult leaders on the internet. They are media cults, I call them now. I don't even want to call name when man want to tell you, but manifesting is sin and manifesting is wrong. That same man is who telling people not to love themselves, and he trying to bring down people who teaching you to love yourself and to believe in yourself, and people who teaching self-help and self-development and self-improvement and so on. Trying to use scriptures to brainwash them while he's fleecing those sheep, while he's widening his borders on YouTube, and there are many of them. You have to be so careful of these wolves who are in sheep clothing. So my brother and my sisters, I just want to do this video to help, because someone came on the channel and was asking of this, and I guess there's someone who's now coming out of the church or Christian kind of mentality and want to come in, you know, to this. And that is why you have to know that you can't put the old wine with the new wine. You can't take the old cloth and put it with the new cloth. This is new. This new wine you're getting. Learning to love yourself and to believe in yourself and knowing your true self and knowing that God in man is man's imagination. Okay? So with that being said, my brother and my sister, I want to thank you very much. And I want to say to you, if this is the very first time that you're listening to me, what I'm saying, it makes sense to you and really resonating with you, and you haven't subscribed already, I'm encouraging you to subscribe, to like, to comment, or to share that, or to share this video. Also, remember to touch that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever we post a video. I want to also invite you to be a part of my Instagram, and you can check me out at BlackMadGuru, or you can check me out on TikTok also, same name. Also, if you feel strongly to support this work, there's always a link down below whereby you can do so. And if you want to be a part of our Patreon is available for you also. But I want to mention that we have a course there for people who are donating at least $20 or more. It's called the Inner Sun Science and Technology, or the Inner Sun Engineering, to create your reality consciously. If you feel to check it out, feel free to be a part. So with that being said, my brother and my sister, I want to say peace. Love you all. I'm out.